Hi friends, welcome back to my lockdown diaries. This is Shashwat here. Uh, these are meant to be my thoughts and experiences which I've captured in these diaries of mine. So I start with the good news. The good news is you're going to see a lot more of me in the days to come. I think so. Someone in the government is also very eagerly following my lockdown diaries, and they don't want the season to end. So the lockdown has been extended to by 14 days now. It's gonna officially end on May 17 if it's gonna end. We can virtually say this was the first month of April in most of our lifestyle, lifetimes, which has completely evaporated into thin air and just disappeared like that. So now we will have to cope up with the whole month of May. When they say it's gonna go till 17, it's obvious that it's gonna go further. They have already announced a lot of measures regarding the zones that are there. The list is available online. Unfortunately for me, the city of Mumbai and Thane both fall into the red district, which I'm also, I have this earnest request, from the administrators and the people who are making these deals. Please make these zones a bit smaller. Mumbai is a big area to designate as a red zone. Thane is a big district by itself. Why can't you divide it into small segments? That would be easier. Otherwise, for the mistakes of some, all will have to suffer. So that is one harsh reality that has suddenly come upon us. This time, my only sadness right now is I don't get to hear Modi ji speaking about it. We are kind of accustomed to him coming on television a day before and telling us and giving us those messages of hope, and one time we are banging plates and the other time we are lighting diyas. I was wondering we'll have something of that, another light, sound and what magic or something. There should have been a sequence to it which has not happened. The planes, so the Indian Air Force has decided it will be doing a fly past tomorrow in recognition of all the essential workers and everything. So I think so, which basically the reason they must be doing it because their planes must be sitting on the tarmac and just getting rusted and junk. So they are just testing the fighter jets if they are functioning or not. So that's about it. Today also happens to be May 1st, which is Maharashtra Day. So first let me start, Maharashtra Day, happy Maharashtra Day to all of you. This is the day in 1960 when the state of Maharashtra came into being after quite a lot of struggle. The struggle was essentially over the city of Mumbai. So the then government by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru and a lot of lobbying by other regional leaders like Morarji Desai and all, they were kind of in the whole they had convinced the government that either there would be two options: either Mumbai will become a union territory like Delhi, or it will become a bi-state capital of the Gujarati and the Marathi state. So Maharashtra and Gujarat it will become a common capital like you have Chandigarh. So there was a whole lot of uproar over it. Mumbai or Bombay then has always been an integral part of Maharashtra and the whole ethos. So there was a whole movement was launched. Samyukta Maharashtra movement was launched, and a lot of lives were lost as well. In this there was this, I remember there's an incident where the police had fired upon the protesters and over 100 people had died. So they are recognized as martyrs. It was essentially a communist kind of a communist plus the local and everyone movement against the Congress government which was then ruling. And after that the government conceded and Maharashtra came into being in 1960. So today is 60 years of Maharashtra, right? 40 plus 70 years. I'm sorry if there's a correction. 70 years of Maharashtra into being. So given that fact, I don't think so. In all these years, in all these 7 decades of its existence, Maharashtra must have seen a day like this ever. Maharashtra has been caught in the whole coronavirus epidemic in the worst possible manner. You already have, out of the 30% cases in India, 30% belong to Maharashtra, out of which 70% belong to, Mumbai. So it's a terrible. Maharashtra has always been known for its progressive and its its advancement in terms of business and economy. Its GDP is one of the highest. The people, the kind of the gentry it has, it's very renowned. So all these things historically and economically, it's a state that has. It has one of the best statistics, so as to say. This is one statistic that is very saddening. I just hope and pray to whatever gods that are there, that this thing passes out soon for all of us, and we are able to get back to our lives and celebrate the Maharashtra life in the manner that is truly there. 1st May is also happens to be a day which is celebrated as International Labour Day. So International Labour Day is celebrating the workers and the labourers across the world. It again has its root in the socialistic and communist kind of a thing, but yes, it's been done to celebrate the workers of the world. The essential slogan that goes always is workers of the world unite, you have nothing to lose but your chains and the whole world to gain. So yeah, so that is the Karl Marx philosophy that has driven the whole movement, but unfortunately, as things stand right now, the workers have a lot more to lose in now and in the days to come. They are not only going to lose their chains, they are going to lose their jobs, and they are going to suffer in many ways as we go through these times of economic upheaval. So this I was just thinking, what would be the future of work once this thing passes out, which eventually it will happen. What are the mega trends that are there that will define how people work, how people how people collaborate, how people get their salaries, what is going to be the economic scenario. While we can talk on a lot of individualistic sector wise thing, manufacturing, this and that, we can divide it on a sectoral approach, but let's just do a crystal ball gazing on a broader level. So some of the trends that you're going to see right now is you can say first thing that is going to end is the meetings will become more virtual now. You will have you won't have those. The business travel is more or less going to end, because now people have become accustomed to Zoom calls. Google Meet is launching its own service where you can connect to so many people. It's affordable, it's cheap, it's quick, and it's high quality thanks to the pervasive bandwidth that we have. It's no more of a hassle anymore. Previously organizing a video call used to be such a great hassle, not anymore. So that is going to be one of the things. Another thing that's going to change is typically we have a very we have divided our life into work and life, right? 9 to 5, we'll go on a job 40 hours a week, and so on and so forth. But that is also going to change. Now that you can work from your home, most of the you can work in spurts. You work in a heavy shift, then you take a break now, then you can work or when you have more load on your plate. So yeah, so it's gonna work. Already we are seeing someone like Narayan Murthy has spoken that we should shift to a 60-hour week to help the nation build once this lockdown is over. So that's that is going to be a challenge, because your managers are going to expect a lot more out of you if you are sitting at home and working. Another interesting factor that could be there is we can see a lot more women back into the workforce. One of the challenges that women have in the workforce is they have to either they have to truncate their corporate careers for taking care of the home and all those kind of a thing. But now that we have lot more opportunities of working from home, many women can be back on their jobs. They can make use of all the education or all the experience that they had. They can leverage that, and they can be a part of the workforce again. In this world where their work will be essentially divided between virtual and real kind of a thing, the women can really take charge of the virtual workforce and do great on that segment. Finally, there's a cream of the middle management that is often there, and that's a very fat lardy thing in an organization. That is also going to see a lot of churn. So yeah, so if I were to sum up the whole future into three big trends that are going to be there. So the three big trends, according to me, number one trend will be localization. So everything we have seen the kind of disruption this pandemic has had on our supply chains, right? Up till now the whole world was flat and we were looking in a very global supply chain where a nut was coming from China and a bolt was coming from France and it was being put together in Spain. So we were living in a world that was immensely interconnected, and we didn't foresee a scenario where our boundaries will be closed, transport will be completely clamped down, there will be no migration or anything, of people, of things or ships or anything of that sort. We had never prepared for this thing. Now going forth, lot of this work will shift on a localized scale. People have understood that you need to have some sort of essential services which are there. Essential factories will be shifting to local countries and then into local regions, and this will be first driven by the need to have some sort of a DR, disaster recovery, and business continuity, but then it will become a part of our lives, because you already have the minister in India, Mr. Nitin Gadkari, had already spoken how companies are looking beyond China right now, and India could score on this opportunity. So even within India, I foresee a time where a lot of companies in Maharashtra will tend to have their their presence in the state itself, and rather than shift abroad. So localization is one big trend. The second big trend that we are going to see is specialization. Right now you can divide the whole workforce into three specific categories. One is the essential workers who have to go out, pandemic or no pandemic. They are the workers in the police force, they are the doctors, they are the delivery persons, they are the farmers. They have to work irrespective of whatever is the scenario. So they are the essential workers. The second, you have the WFH or the work from home guys whose work can be shifted. People like journalists and writers and bankers and call center employees and BPO functionaries, managers, and all these they can function from their homes. And the third category, you right now have the furloughed or the laid off workers who had to bear the brunt of this epidemic and now waiting for the whole thing to come back again. In this scenario, the people that are going to function best or going to survive this are the people who are going to specialize. You need to have something, something to offer, some speciality, you have to be you have to bring to the table something that distinguishes you. It could be in terms of a job function that you have, in terms of education, or in terms of a specialization in a niche segment. So for instance, even in a say a broad space like sustainability, if you are a specialist in water management, that could play a very important role. So right now the world will belong to the essential workers and then the specialists. So you need to look at this world into this specialization. And finally, the third big trend, and that is which is going to have the maximum impact, is digitalization. Companies across the board have had to adopt automation over the past couple of years to stay relevant and productive, but now they are going to do it in a big way. And because of that, there will be a normal shift in the manner of the work that we know. For long we have been talking about how artificial intelligence is going to make people redundant. That's going to happen. We are going to see those trends building up in the days to come. This will entail upon all of us in the in people who have careers and who are looking for work to adapt and take up new skills. We had seen this earlier. A lot of these countries are already examining the impact of artificial intelligence. They are already talking about these kind of digital transformation, the impact it will have on the workforce. Now that it's really there, we'll have to examine these trends in a much deeper manner and work accordingly. So so that's the future of work is going to be very interesting over the next couple of once this whole epidemic passes away. There's going to be a spurt in economic activity, so there's going to be a lot of while people are talking about job cuts and all these things, but at that moment we are going to see a lot more inflow of capital and lot more. Government will also be pushing much of the activity, so you'll see a lot of jobs and all that. That shouldn't be a problem. But if you have to analyze the long term impact, we'll have to prepare for a world which is, which will be constantly under threat, and you can't take your jobs and your things for granted. So in the time to come, you can't take your jobs for granted. Moving won't be so easy. Fancy salaries and fancy salary hikes are more or less thing of the past. And third most important thing that you should now look at is saving for the rainy day. You can't live on a typical life that we had, the American life where you're living on a credit. It's more of the what our Indian parents, grandparents used to talk about, chaddar ke andar pair philao types. You have to live within your means and start doing that. So yeah, so that is what the future of work is, I perceive on this thing. Interestingly, there are a lot of struggles that we all will have, and I'm also having my interesting tidbits now and then. So there's an interesting thing that just came to my mind, is how after all this digitalization that I'm talking about, digitization, transformation and everything, the world is getting back to normal customary cash again. I'm seeing a transition. A lot of people around, a lot of groceries and everyone around me is back to those good old days of asking for cash. So yeah, that is becoming a challenge because the ATMs don't have cash, and these people, everyone seems to be wanting cash. So yeah, that is something that that has brought interesting challenges. Yeah, UPI payment is there, but I don't know, for some reason they are not even keen for Google Paytm, Google Pay kind of payments as well. So yeah, so that one thing is there. Given the fact that now we have a long days to come, and another couple of weeks to be together. For that, I think so I'll take a leave right now. I'll catch you again next week on Monday. Till then, stay safe, stay inside, and don't forget to wash your hands. By the way, did you notice this orange shirt? This saffron shirt is in in celebration of the Maharashtra Day. So typically on Maharashtra Day, most of the people would be wearing something of orange. I had to dig into my wardrobe, and this is the best saffron shirt that I could find. So yeah, so I hope you like it. Till then, I'll see you again. Jai Hind, Jai Maharashtra. Bye bye.